Welcome to Shine Africa, a lifestyle show designed for people of all ages and domains. The show is tailored to inform, educate, support, and inspire young people through its caliber of guests and uprising stars when they share their experiences, challenges, and success stories. Shine Africa, moving forward.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Shine Africa. Today we are looking at refugees, especially those who are in Cameroon. And right now I'm wondering how many people in Cameroon actually know what it means to be a refugee, what it means to be an urban refugee, what it means to be an internally displaced person. Today we have an expert in the house and she would be telling you all that you need to know about that when we come back. My guest is a Fulbright Scholar, Kelly Ann Yeo. She has worked in Africa for 14 good years. And I don't want to tell you about her. She's going to do that by herself. Ladies and gentlemen, can we put our hands together for my guest? You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wow. How have you been?
Very well.
Okay, I can see that. You asked us to do guava juice. This is not the season, so we got pineapples for you. I hope you don't mind.
It's perfect.
Okay, and we're going to do a smoothie for you. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to my kitchen.
Okay.
You may just want to tell me why you chose guava juice. Why do you like them?
I don't know. I love guavas. It's my favorite fruit in Cameroon, but I always come when it's not guava season here, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
I've been here for 14 years.
Oh my God. Do you know anything about pineapples?
No. But they grow in the ground.
Anti-inflammatory, and it helps to cut down on weight which you don't have.
Okay. So I'll just disappear.
You're actually just going to disappear. So what's your favorite color? I want to give you a straw. What's your favorite color? Yellow. Oh God, that's very nice. I have lots and lots of yellow straws here. Okay, I took a yellow too. Ladies and gentlemen, before we take leave of you, remember that a kitchen without a juicer is not alive. A kitchen without a juicer is not alive. Wow. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Have a sip of your juice, please.
It's delicious. Cameroon has the best pineapples.
Oh my God. I blush because I know it's true. You know, we've been talking for some time about who you are, what you do, and basically you work on humanitarian issues and you focus, I think, mostly on refugee issues.
Yes.
Yes. So now, who is Kelly Ann Yeo?
So my name actually is long. It's Kelly Ann Yeo. It's very long, but I always kind of cut it short so it's easier for people. But I have my master's in public health, and I started working in Cameroon in 2004.
Wow.
As a Peace Corps volunteer in the north.
Okay.
So I lived in Garawa, the Adamawa, and when I was there, I worked with refugees. Kind of by accident because there was...
Banyo? Yeah, okay.
Because there was a conflict near the Nigerian border.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of refugees coming into town. So it was my first exposure. I was only 22 years old.
In 2004?
Yes, I just gave away my age. So it was my first exposure with refugees, and I was surprised because I always thought that refugees kind of lived in refugee camps, but most of them were coming into the town and integrating really well into the small town that I was living in. Yeah. So after spending 2.5 years as a Peace Corps volunteer, I continued working with refugees across the Central Africa region for another 11 years. And then I came back to do my PhD in cultural anthropology. So I'm back in Cameroon working with urban refugees, which are basically refugees living outside of camps in cities in developing country, which represent 60%.
No, we're going to come to that.
Okay.
I want to talk about who you are because I find a whole lot.
Okay.
You say you are a cultural anthropologist. You're also a medical anthropologist. You've read a whole lot of things. How do you bring this into focus when it comes to what you are doing?
Yeah, so I think it kind of evolved over time. So when I first started working, I studied public health and I was interested in health issues. But anthropology is a science, a social science that really tries to understand who people are and how their culture and their social circumstances inform the way that they live their lives and the choices that they make. And I felt like this was some important kind of knowledge that was often missing from public health practice, where there was maybe one model that you try to implement everywhere without really regard to who the people are or what their beliefs are. Obviously, that's very generalized. There's definitely different types of public health models.
So you think that when all what you've studied, it helps you in the work you're doing, the humanitarian work you do? Does it bring everything you have done into focus?
Yes, definitely, because now I'm still looking at health issues, but after having tried to implement the same model in different places and seeing it not always work, I felt that I wanted...
In different places. Can you tell us about the different places?
Yeah, so even, Cameroon is a very diverse country.
Yeah.
So doing a project with Rwandans in Yaoundé is different than doing a project with Chadians or Central Africans or different Cameroonians in different neighborhoods in Yaoundé.
Exactly, because I wanted you to bring out the fact that you've worked in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in the Central African Republic, in what other African countries?
A lot. I've worked in also Burundi, Republic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Swaziland.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
But I always come back to Cameroon.
I love traveling, but I don't always get the opportunity. So next time when you're going, you try to take me along.
Okay.
We're going to have a musical break. It's going to be the Rwandese traditional dance brought all the way from Rwanda by Kelly. She's been working with urban refugees in Yaoundé for so long, and we wanted to see exactly what they do together. So when we come back from this musical break, we are going to talk more about urban refugees.
mbega rwageze bigarama rwongera mu burenzo ku Rwanda biza umutwe atangira muze ngabo yanze gushira amakenga ati ndi nkera yabeze atoni icyogere mu kuba ntabwo ntabazanye icyubahiro mu rugo niba bitaro taganira mbar twatabye ingenzi bari man babo batabaza gushaka kutagira imbeho yego hari here hari here hari nyange zirusha kwera hari nyamibwa yakuze neza mwini wacu baragushaka izire sinde ya mwiza uw'imico myiza idasanzwe niwe nyabusumba zifura intege mwiza bwanyu mutira buhose hari here hari here hari inyange zirusha kwera hari nyamibwa yakuze neza mwini wacu baragushaka ngwino se nyamuseka zigashoka iyizihe bibero by'uruyumbu ari hehe uwantwaye umutima ngwino nyabusa mugabire gaje ndaje ndaje musanga dongera yuko aresha ngo guhobera n'urukundo ndoro yabeze uruje mubakobwa hari here hari here hari inyange zirusha kwera hari nyamibwa yakuze neza
shukurani, shukurani. That means thank you in Swahili. I think I learned something today, Kelly. And I must say that that dance was really electrical and also very emotional.
Yeah.
So can you try to summarize? What does it mean?
Yeah, so this was basically kind of a traditional dance that is performed in a lot of big ceremonies in not only Rwanda, but also Burundi, Tanzania, and some of the other, like Eastern Congo, some of the other areas of the Great Lakes region. And it's just a way of kind of celebrating and expressing culture through music.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Ignace does is he's been in Cameroon for 20 years.
For 20 years, yeah.
So Rwandan refugees have been in Cameroon for a long time, and a lot of children have even been born here or came here when they were really young.
Oh, yeah.
And one way of helping to teach them about their culture, even though they're growing up outside of the country, is through music and dance. So this is something he does a lot with youth.
I think it means a lot to me. It gives me goosebumps to hear that. Yeah. So Ignace is an urban refugee. Am I right to say that? Yes, so if he is an urban refugee, how do you work with them? How do you help them? He's been here for 20 years, and I think I've met with a lot of Rwandan refugees in Cameroon in particular through you. So how do you work with them?
Yeah, so I am a researcher. So as an anthropologist, we kind of joke and say that we're storytellers, but we ask people a lot of questions to learn about their lives, to learn about, for me, my questions are about how people have been able to continue their lives after fleeing conflict or genocide or other, persecution that made people have to leave their countries, which is what a refugee is, and cross a border and come into another country. And so,
is that the difference between urban refugees and internally displaced persons?
Yeah, so there's kind of a lot of different categories, and so when we use the word refugee, sometimes it encompasses a lot of diversity.
Okay.
So urban refugees represent over half of the world's refugees.
Okay.
And they are people who have crossed the border into another country because they're fleeing persecution based on who they are, for one reason or another. And they're settling on their own in cities.
Okay.
There's also some refugees that when they cross the border, they stay in camps. So there's refugee camps, which is kind of the image that a lot of people have.
So these are not urban refugees, the ones who are in camps?
No.
They are not.
No.
But they have moved from one country into the other country.
Yes.
And they are still not urban refugees.
No, because they're kind of confined to camps. And in Cameroon, it's encouraged for refugees to stay in camps, but it's not required. But in countries like Kenya, it's required for refugees to stay in camps.
Why is that so?
Just every country has different laws, and usually related to national security. For some reason or another, they might want to control people, for lack of a better word. And so it's easier to do that when people are in the confines of a camp rather than outside.
So you don't find a lot of urban refugees in those countries?
You still will. You can still find them. It's just that they will be living more precariously, so they're not allowed to be living outside of camps. But not being allowed doesn't mean that you don't do it.
I'm so happy for my country, Cameroon, because you say when they come here, they're free. So they integrate and they can do whatever it is they think they can do. They can go to school, they can work. Like Ignace has been here for 20 years, perhaps he has children here and all of that.
Yeah, so in Cameroon, refugees who have the papers have the rights as any other Cameroonian citizen. So in terms of going to public schools, paying the same school fees. That said, not everybody who crosses a border, you have to first apply. You don't automatically become...
Yeah, that's the next question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
You have to apply?
Yes, so you have to prove the persecution that you fled. And if the authorities don't think that it's a valid reason, or they think that maybe you're not telling the truth, or your story isn't clear, then they might reject it.
And where do you go to?
It depends. Some people might try in another country. Some people will try again. You can do what they call a recours, where you basically apply again and try and remake your case.
That tells me that there should be a lot of illegal refugees in many countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so especially in Africa, I think so.
Yeah, and I think, in terms of being undocumented, so not having your papers in order, which is a problem because it's hard enough to find work in Cameroon.
Oh my God.
So imagine if an employer finds someone without even any legal documents. It's very easy to take advantage of them and to even make them work a whole month without paying them at the end.
Oh my God.
But they can't go to the police because they might not even have any like
legal yeah. Oh my God, that is really bad and a sad scenario. Oh, okay. So I want to talk to you about Hope on the Bricks, and that's a book you have written. You launched it at the American Embassy. I was there during, you talked about it during your exposition. So tell me about Hope on the Bricks, and can you continue the title of that book, please?
Yeah, so it was Dreams and Nightmares Crossing Borders.
Yeah, okay. Hope on the Bricks.
Hope on the Bricks, Dreams and Nightmares
Crossing Borders. Yeah.
So after working with refugees for so long, I felt that we weren't learning enough from what people actually did to rebuild their lives on their own. Because urban refugees, for example, most are not receiving any assistance.
Oh my God.
So what can you learn from how people have been able to rebuild their lives in order to more effectively provide assistance? Because in my opinion, humanitarian assistance, because it lasts for so long, it doesn't seem like it's effective. Like the model might need to be relooked at.
Yeah.
So I took 3 years doing research in Cameroon, working with urban refugees from Rwanda, taking their stories, compiling them. And I wrote a book which comes out August 30th.
Okay.
Next month. And it's basically a compilation of these stories about how people have been able to rebuild their lives and how maybe having their legal status or their refugee status rejected might affect their lives, and the different risks that people take in order to rebuild their lives. So kind of giving more, in anthropology we see agency, but giving more power back to refugees rather than looking at them as people who are just begging for handouts, because in reality it's not
that. Okay, now one quick last question. All this knowledge you have learned, I'm interested to know, like, what does the urban refugee get? What do they get physically, humanitarian help? What do they really get? So with all this knowledge, how are you going to help them?
So what they get depends on the country, but in terms of what I am doing is I'm trying to draw attention to the situation of urban refugees. So as a storyteller, as an anthropologist, what I can really do is to try and draw attention to a situation.
So humanitarians can pick it up from there.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a question from the audience. Yes, looks like we have somebody to ask a question. Please, your name and your question.
Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to say my name is J. King. I'm from the Northwest region. I'm an artist. So my question goes to Madame. Like, we all are aware of the crisis that's going on in Cameroon right now, and it's a refugee agent or an expert in refugee. My question is, how do they bring back the refugees from those that have gone, the urban refugees that have gone to Nigeria, to Cameroon? I know you are not the Cameroon government, but I think you can like orientate us on how we should go about. What do you think?
Okay, I think I can help with that question. Basically, in countries wherein you have displaced persons, refugees in other countries, what can the government do to bring back the people in their various countries?
Yeah, it's a really good question and very complicated, but in general, there's a policy. Once you become a refugee, the United Nations has a policy, and that most countries have ratified, of non-refoulement, which means you cannot force somebody to go back to a country that they're afraid of against their will. So really, if a country wants its refugees to come back, it has to prove that the peace and security situations are adequate, that they will be protected once they come back.
Wow.
And so in order to do that, there's a lot of kind of high-level negotiations and usually kind of peacekeeping forces that might help bring people back, help them maybe be resettled.
Okay.
When I worked in Congo, we brought refugees back from Tanzania.
Okay.
And we had to give them kind of money.
In partnership with the government?
Yes.
Yes.
So the government promised to protect them, and then we had to give them support to rebuild their homes and things that had been burned.
Financial benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because,
okay.
You know, sometimes you've been displaced for 10, 20 years, you've started your life elsewhere. And to come back, you have to restart again. So it's, even if the security situation is okay, you might be discouraged because you're doing well in the other country. So the longer that the refugee situation goes, the harder sometimes it is for people to come back.
Wow. Okay, so you have been on the hot seat, so we've been asking questions all around you. Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to ask me a question?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say no.
I'll ask you why. So I know that the refugee crisis globally has been receiving a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So why do you think now? Why were you interested in having a show specifically talking about refugees in Cameroon?
Oh my God! So why did I decide to talk about it? Firstly, because it is the first time, perhaps, that in Cameroon we have refugees. Yes. And secondly, because in recent times, I've met with a lot of refugees through you. And through our discussions, I thought that they needed some exposure. Yeah. It is the first time I'm coming in contact with a lot of them at a time. And I hear the different stories and all of that. So that's my own way of showcasing Africa. Yeah. And yes, and seeing how we can be able to expose these people so that they can also get some help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent. I tried that. Okay.
For me too, I think it's interesting because a lot of people don't even know how many refugees there are in Cameroon.
Oh my God.
I think part of it is how well refugees have been able to integrate kind of socially and culturally into Cameroon.
Wow.
Because of maybe the legal frameworks, but also just the diversity of the country.
Oh my God, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, we are going to go to the dance floor. Oh, no. And you said you wanted to dance to your husband's cousin. Kelly is actually married to a Cameroonian whose cousin is Kares Fotso. And she insists on dancing to Kares Fotso. Can we have a DJ on that beat, please?
You're going to dance with me now?
Yeah. Can we please clap for Kelly? Kelly, thank you very much. You said you could not dance, but I don't think so because it looks like you can dance very well. So we're going to see how many marks you have made for yourself. Just dancing, please. Can we have a beautiful lady with the mark sheet? Just over there, please. We're going to see how many marks Kelly has made for herself dancing. Is it a 5? No. No. Is it an 8? That leaves us with a 10. Is it a 10? You have refused everything, so which mark? 5 and 9. Sorry for you, there's no 9. So a 10. Thank you very much. We're not sitting anymore. You're going to leave your humanitarian signature right here.
Okay.
Yes. So get some space anywhere and leave your signature.
Voila.
Someday we shall remember. Do you have your name? Put your name somewhere, please. That's very excellent. Someday someone will remember that you were here on Shine Africa. And usually you've been in Africa for 14 years. And the longest time you have spent is in Cameroon. You've gotten married to a Cameroonian. So you have given us Cameroonian children, 2 of them. And you're leaving Cameroon very soon. So we decided to give you a Cameroon map. So when you go back to the United States, you're going to show them that you were here for a very long time. We'd like to thank you very much for coming to Shine Africa. Thank you very much. You can, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we take leave of you, here is our watchword, an African proverb which says, war has no eyes. War has no eyes. And we like to say a very big thank you to Goethe Institute in Yaoundé, Bastos. That's where we're having this show today. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to F&F Fashion for dressing me up like this. This regalia is from the Northwest region of Cameroon. And of course, I also say a very big thank you to Somatel Hotel in Biamasi for hosting our guest. Until next time, it's a bye-bye from us.